Hey guys, what's up? It's Katy and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we are going to be going over the champion spotlight for Stryfe. So thanks to the CCP, I had early access to the champion spotlight for Stryfe. So let's go ahead and take a look at him and see how he looks on paper. Okay, so Stryfe, a child was created as a clone of the infant Nathan Summers in the hopes of salvaging his techno-organic virus ravished body. Thinking this child to be Nathan, Apocalypse kidnapped him and raised him as his own, giving him the name Stryfe and encouraging the boy's arrogance and cruelty in preparation to one day transfer his own consciousness into Stryfe's body. Years later, during the ritual of transferring Apocalypse's mind into Stryfe, it was discovered that he was actually a clone and thus unfit to house the essence of Apocalypse. Feeling betrayed by both what he thought was his real parents and his adoptive father Apocalypse, Stryfe grew up as an embittered madman seeking vengeance on those who wronged him. So for those of you who don't really know, Stryfe is essentially Cable's clone. Alright, so let's take a look at Stryfe's mechanics here. Alright, Stryfe uses heavy attacks and his invisibility cloak to build telepathic charges, using these as a resource in his kit. With these charges, he's able to concuss the opponent, block unblockable attacks. I love champs that can do that. Stun unstoppable opponents. Oh, that's nice. Hello, Juggernaut. Glance incoming attacks or ramp his damage potential. Telepathic charges can also be stored as persistent charges to carry throughout the quest by using a special attack 3 or winning a fight. All of this makes him a great option for really long and extreme fights like those to be found in the Abyss. So, are they saying this guy could be used in Abyss? Seems what a kabam is saying, but again, only time will tell when we actually get our hands on this guy and see how he is. Because while this may look good on paper, we really don't know what it's like yet. All right, so now that we know a little bit about his mechanics, let's take a look at his strengths. So high damage potential. By storing persistent telepathic charges throughout a quest, Stryfe can ramp up his damage to rival other high damaging champions such as Star-Lord, Aegon, and others. Oh really? That's a bold statement. Great survivability. Stryfe's telepathic charges will cause incoming attacks to glance, dealing a lot less damage to him. Additionally, if Stryfe's signature ability is unlocked, glancing attacks can trigger his invisibility, giving him a great window to recover from the opponent's combo. So definitely going to want to have this guy awaken, probably. Blocking unblockable attacks. While Stryfe has a concussion on the opponent, he's able to block unblockable attacks, and this can be fairly easy throughout the entire fight if need be. I love champs that can block unblockable. We saw that with Red Guardian, so I'm super pumped about this. And stunning unstoppable opponents. So this is interesting because, you know, Juggernaut cannot be stunned when he's unstoppable, but champs like Unstoppable Colossus can. So for the cost of 2 telepathic charges, Stryfe can strike an unstoppable opponent, removing their unstoppable effect and inflicting a stun. This is a very handy trick to use when fighting an opponent who goes unstoppable at unpredictable moments, such as the final boss of the Abyss. So it definitely seems like they are trying to make this guy for the Abyss. So we might test drive him in there, maybe. All right, now that we know a little bit about his strengths, let's take a look at his weaknesses. Power lock, burn, and drain. While suffering from any of the above effects, Stryfe cannot build his telepathic charges. So this is good. This is going to be making champs like Vision, you know, Warlock, Magic, any power lock, burn, or drain champ is going to be really good when fighting against this guy in the monthly event quest dropping on Wednesday. Opponent power gain. Stryfe is unable to use his telepathic cloak invisibility while the opponent has more than 1 full bar of power. Anywhere special attacks cannot be baited or where the opponent is gaining a lot of power will make it a lot more difficult to ramp up his charges. So champs like Hyperion, Vision Arcus are really going to wreck this guy. Vigilance and anti-miss. Opponents who are able to bypass miss will counter Stryfe's cloak and make it hard to ramp up charges quickly. So, you know, Nick with tactical charges, that's always good. The Daredevils. Shock immune or energy resistance. Stryfe gets a nice chunk of his damage through his shock and his basic energy attacks. Anywhere the opponent is immune or has resistance to energy damage will significantly reduce his damage output. So even Dr. Voodoo could maybe be, actually Dr. Voodoo could really be a good one, right? He's got the power burn, he's got the power drain, and he's got a really high energy resistance. So Dr. Voodoo might be the one to go to when this guy is in the monthly event quest. So let's take a look at his abilities here. All right, so we got Psionic Blast. Psionic Blasts occur on medium, heavy, and special 2 attacks. These deal energy damage instead of physical and cannot be evaded. Reduce the potency of incoming passive direct damage by 100. And side note, in some niche scenarios, Stryfe is able to perform only medium or heavy combos to completely ignore incoming passive damage and evade effects. So that's kind of nice for Mixmaster. All right, so now let's take a little bit more. Let's take a look at these persistent charges, his telepathic charges that he's got going on. So max 20. Telepathic charges are unaffected by ability accuracy reduction, but cannot be gained while suffering power lock, burn, or drain. All attacks gain plus attack rating per telepathic charge. 55% chance to gain 1 telepathic charge when landing a heavy attack. Chance increased by a flat 15% for each full bar of power. Gain 1 charge when struck by a crit hit. Gain 1 charge each time Stryfe or his opponent misses. So when struck at, so he gets him with a crit hit. So Guillotine 2099 might actually be a good counter for him as well, since she doesn't crit. And she also has power, power drain. When struck at 5+ telepathic charges, consume 5 charges to cause the attack to glance. Glancing hits cannot be critical. Deal 50% reduced damage and suffer 100% offensive ability accuracy. Striking an opponent or into their block while they are unstoppable consumes 2 telepathic charges to remove the effect and inflict a passive stun for 1.2 seconds, cooldown 8 seconds. Stryfe's heavy attack is a great way to top up on telepathic charges. The more full bars of power Stryfe has, the higher this chance reaching 100% at 3 full bars. So this guy looks like you're going to want to hold his power for at least a little bit to build up those telepathic charges. All right, so now let's take a look at this 4th light attack. So consume 1 telepathic charge to inflict a passive concussion for 12 seconds, reducing the opponent's ability accuracy by 20%. While the opponent is suffering from concussion, Stryfe can block unblockable attacks. The concussion effects can stack multiple times, effectively reducing the opponent's ability accuracy to 0 after inflicting 5 stacks. This also works great in combination with the special 3 concussion. Heavy attack, deal a burst of energy damage plus 500% potency if invisible. Gain 3 telepathic charges if invisible. So that's a little interesting mechanic. All right, so now let's take a look at his special attack. So Telepathic Camouflage is his special 1. The second hit in this attack inflicts a non-stacking passive shock, dealing energy damage over 8 seconds. The shock is removed and reapplied on each psionic blast. After this attack, Stryfe activates a telepathic cloak to go invisible for 3 seconds, giving the opponent 100% chance to miss. This will not trigger when fighting an opponent with #psychic shielding. Okay, so that's important to note. If Stryfe lands an attack, blocks an attack, or the opponent activates a special attack, his position is revealed and invisibility is removed. When playing Stryfe, you'll never want to throw your special 1 while the opponent has 1 or more full bars of power, since the opponent might retaliate with a special attack of their own and strip away Stryfe's cloak, but instead bait the opponent's special before using Stryfe's. This way you have free and easy access to heavy intercepting with the cloak. Okay, so that's actually interesting to note when we're fighting against Stryfe. Excuse me. So if we do bait his special 1, we're going to want to throw our special after that. All right, now let's take a look at his special 2, Exceptional Psionics. So the first and final 2 hits in this attack are Psionic Blasts, each dealing a burst of energy damage plus 80% potency if the opponent is shocked. Psionic Blasts gain attack rating per telepathic charge. In an average or shorter fight, special 2 is a great finisher. Open with a special 1 to build telepathic charges, then use these charges. So this is basically what they're saying when they want us. If he has a signature ability unlocked, he can also store a bunch of his charges as persistent charges when closing a fight. So if you are going to be grinding for this guy or opening crystals for this guy, you're going to want to have his sig ability unlocked. All right. So let's take a look at his special 3, because this seems a bit important. Your Mind of My Playground. Gain 5 persistent telepathic charges. These last for the rest of the quest but are capped at 100. Consume all telepathic charges, each becoming +1 additional persistent telepathic charge. Persistent telepathic charges cannot be consumed to trigger abilities but still grant attack rating bonuses. If the opponent is shocked, inflict a passive concussion for 30 seconds, reducing the opponent's ability accuracy by 30%. Okay, so the special 3 is best used in longer fights since it allows Stryfe to store up to 25 telepathic charges permanently for the rest of the quest. If the fight is long enough, Stryfe will be able to hit his maximum ramp for special 3 rotations, then he can switch over to special 1 into special 2 loop for massive damage consistency. So I'm wondering how he's going to be in this event quest, what kind of nodes they're going to give him. So let's take a look at his signature ability, Substantial Psionic Power. When gaining telepathic charges from any source other than this ability, Stryfe has X% chance to gain 1 additional charge. Whenever the opponent glances a basic attack, Stryfe has a 40% chance to activate his special 1 invisibility for 3 seconds. Winning a fight converts 70% of telepathic charges into persistent telepathic charges. So, okay, so it's extremely useful for ramping up charges in the average fight where the fight never might reach a special 3. So it seems like he's going to need to have this, have the awakened ability, the signature chance for glancing into an to activate a telepathic cloak is also extremely valuable when making a mistake and exiting a hit, since it's a good chance of not only saving Stryfe from eating a combo, but also allowing him to rebuild a portion of his charges lost on glancing. So yeah, this guy's definitely, you're going to want to have him awakened, it seems like. So, and potentially at a high sig. All right. So now let's take a look at his synergies here. So he's got Miss Me with Ebony Maw. Once per fight after being struck by a basic attack, the opponent is inflicted with a passive falter for 3 seconds, giving them 100% chance to miss. And Maw, while the opponent is suffering Black Tongue, they are inflicted with a 3-second falter debuff every 13 seconds. And while the opponent is faltered, gain 40% attack rating. So that's actually not bad for Ebony Maw. Bull targets with Guillotine, Thor, and Hood. So Stryfe starts the fight with invisibility active, much like Hood does with Ghost. Hood gained plus 50% attack rating while invisible. That's actually nice. Guillotine souls last 30% longer and are paused during either champion's special attacks. Thor, activating a special attack grants plus 3 fury buffs, each granting 10% attack rating for 6 seconds. That's nice for Thor. And then we've got Cloned at Birth with Cable. Start the fight with plus 5 telepathic charges, and then Cable, while the opponent is suffering from a degen effect, special attacks grant 50% less power to the opponent. So that's actually really nice. All right, and now I love the name of this one, Big Bad Dad with Apocalypse. Stryfe, the final hit of the special attack 2, pauses all shock effects on the opponent for 4 seconds. If the opponent is a Horseman of Apocalypse, become passively unblockable as long as 20 telepathic charges are active. So that's going to be big. And then Apocalypse, activating special attack 1 or 2 increases the potency of personal burst damage by plus 25% and can stack up to plus 300% max. Whoa. And then he's got the enemies synergy with Beast, Mr. Sinister, and Havoc, increasing crit rating, and family with Cyclops, and Cable and Phoenix, where they gain 6% health. So Stryfe looks interesting on paper. I hope he seems as well as how he actually is on paper. Only time will tell. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Stryfe? Do you think just based on this he's going to be a good champion, or do you think he's going to be another, well, Cable? Also, let me know if you like the setup for these champion spotlight videos, or you like how it was set up before. Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre MCOC video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So, do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that MCOC beautifully. Not mediocre. Katy!